Alright, a little ASMR. First one went down pretty well, so bit of love. So it won't be just scraping rats today. I'm going to be finishing off an amalgamation, so I'm going to be keeping it a bit out of sight. It's not finished, so it don't matter. You're going to get a couple noises of like knives scraping on there. And I know you're falling asleep, and I like to try and make it a bit different to your regular stuff where it's trying to get you into a soothing sleep. I'm trying to get you into a sort of a state where you might get maybe some night terrors or anxiety dreams or something. So here's my knife, and just as you're closing your eyes, I'm just going to hide the knife out of sight, but don't let it go out of mind. Keep thinking about the knife, and then as I scrape off this plastic, I've cut up 2 rats, a mouse, a young mouse, and a couple other mice, and I'm going to use a baby chicken as well, which is a nice little image in your head, picture in your head now, a baby chicken playing with a rat, fully grown rat, and a couple of mice. It's a bit of a weird rat hanging around with babies, but you know, with younger things on it. But now I want you to imagine what would actually happen rather than in a fantasy world. That rat's probably going to kill the baby chicken and probably eat it. It'll also eat probably kill the mice. But anyway, don't think about that. Try and get yourself to sleep. And as you're falling asleep, as you close your eyes, just relax and listen to the sounds of the gloves rubbing together on a dead rat's leg. And if you've stumbled across this video looking for ASMR, I can only apologise. It probably isn't going to appeal to you. And speaking of appealing, I will be taking the skins, possibly taking the skins off of these mice here. A couple of mice there, fully, you know, not been chopped up yet. I'll be peeling them slightly off of camera so you can listen to them noises. But you might be asleep by then, and I'll be whispering nonsense into your ear, hoping that at least one of you might be having a little nightmare somewhere, inspired by the world around you. And if you've already fell asleep to what's been described as the soothing tones of my voice, then start to think about the world around you and dream that somebody has bought you something from the world around you. What would they buy you? Would they buy you a rat pencil case with a anally inserted pencil sharpener? Would it be some magnetic animals? Or maybe it's something I've not made yet. If it's something I've not made yet, leave it in the comments below, because as you can tell by this second ASMR video, I may be starting to run out of ideas. And maybe you want to just think of the darkness, not the band from the early 2000s who sang about Christmas in a really weird way, but the unavoidable void that will consume everything eventually. And think about that engulfing you and your family and your pets, all in a never-ending night of sleep and terror and aggravation. just as you see your dad's face slip away into the night, into the darkness, into the pool of water, the rippling pool of emptiness, you hear your mum say, oh, I like it when you do it like that, which unsettles you to no end. Now, taking that a little bit further, I want you to think of the most uncomfortable thing that's ever happened to you, and we're going to times it by 100. So close your eyes and think deeply now about what it would be like to walk into your childhood home. You're 15 again, and you're walking into your childhood home. You unlock the front door, and just as you step through the door, and you can hear, you know, that the TV's a little bit louder in the living room than what it would normally be, but you don't think much of it. You just sort of ignore it, and out of the corner of your mind, you just hear something going, oh, something's not quite right here. And as you step into the living room from the hallway after removing your shoes, you walk in to see your dad's bare arse bobbing up and down as he's pile driving your mother, her head into the rug. Now I want you to fester on that thought for a little while, and really consider it happening. And just as you're drifting off to sleep now, I want you to think what they would say to you as you walk in. Would they be mad? Would they be embarrassed? Would you be mad? Would you be embarrassed? But either way, in this little weird little ditty that you're thinking of in your head, you carry on to the next room, and it's a dream, so you don't have to worry. There's no worries in this dream. You hear a creaking as the floor starts to disappear from beneath you, and eventually you see the walls flying past your head, the yellow and blue tiles of your childhood kitchen. They're flashing before your eyes, and you realise that this is not the regular ASMR you're used to. And just to take you away from them thoughts, just to let your mind escape, I'm going to scrunch this here, which as you can see is a bit of the dry skin from inside of a rabbit's ear. And just to take you back to that story we were developing, this is the noise that you would hear if you'd come into the room about 20 minutes earlier. Because I don't want to insult your dad, you know, I think he could last 20 minutes or longer. But this is the noise you would hear as he's unwrapping the condom, as he's propositioning your mother, but as he turns up the television and looks at her and raises a couple eyebrows and pulls his tongue out, and he's like, oh, hey up, do you fancy a bit? And then he takes the wrapper and flicks it on the floor. And now you're back in your bedroom. You're no longer a child, it's regular age now. And you're just listening to the sounds of a taxidermist whittering on as you're falling asleep. Now if you can, I want you to remember your favourite childhood pet. Could be a dog, could be a cat, could be anything. And I want you to think about what it was like when you first got them, and then really think about that moment when you knew you didn't have them anymore, and then realise that that's okay. You don't have them anymore. It's a good job that I know a really good taxidermist called Jack Devaney, who runs a business called The World Around You. He can stuff my next pet for me and turn it into a nest of tables or a chest of drawers, depending on the size of the animal, for a good fee as well, a fair fee. So I'm just twisting some metal around now in order to make the legs a little bit more sturdy. and then through the end of this mouse's tail I'm going to pop in this piece of metal. Fucked it up again. Can't really do that, it won't fit. We'll go again. Did you lock the back door? And is your car alarm on? Is the gas definitely turned off? I want you to really consider now the safety of your house and the other people who live in your house. The plug sockets are known to get somewhat warm in the summer, especially when you leave your TV on standby. So it's very important that you go and check that now. And I'll give you a few minutes to get back into bed after you've checked all the plugs. Because what would be horrendous is if there was a fire in the night and you didn't smell the smoke because you had a couple too many to drink last night, you finished off that bottle of wine and it was lovely, or you smoked just that little bit too far, you know, or you've had just a couple bits too many little bites in your valves and you're very sleepy and you think, oh, I think I would sleep through a house fire. So get up and go and check that, and I'll crack on with what I've got to do, and we'll reconvene in a couple of minutes. Because as you know, carbon monoxide is the silent killer. That won't set off your house alarm or your fire alarm. Just like a well-practiced home invader or intruder, burglar. They know what they're doing, and they might even plot to do it while you're sleeping. Who knows? get back into bed, I want you to make this video just a little bit smaller on your screen and press the like button and the subscribe button, and then bring it back full screen, and then just start to relax again, letting your head drift away into the night, into the little dream world that you make for yourself every evening. Maybe you're thinking to yourself, I don't like this video compared to the last one. He's gone a bit nightmare heavy on this one. Well, maybe, it might be a good idea to, if your kids have been misbehaving, to just sneak into the room and pop this on. I'm going to do my best not to swear, but if maybe giving your kids nightmares, it'd be a good way to control them and stop them from misbehaving. But I'll leave that up to you. Obviously don't play it from the beginning, because you'll end up with a very strange relationship with your child. No parent really wants to be asked, Mum, has Daddy ever pile drived you in the living room? Nobody wants to be asked that. But if you think very deeply now and relax and focus on your breathing, and think about that strange pain that you sometimes get in your chest as you're breathing a little bit too deeply occasionally, or that sensation where it feels like your heart misses a beat and it beats somewhat irregular, so instead of going, da-dun, 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 it might go da-da-da, da-da, da-da, like that, something like that. And just as the needle pushes through the foot of this rat, I want you to consider how bad it would be to get pins and needles or a muscular cramp as you're relaxing, and how that would ruin your evening. And then be grateful as to knowing that you don't have that muscular cramp. Albeit there's a lot worse things that could happen while you're lying in bed. I hope you took my warning seriously about checking for carbon monoxide and your plug sockets. Maybe you like to leave your phone to charge overnight by the bed, and that's a risk as well. I want you to think about how you're endangering yourself by having that plug charging. And now as you close your eyes again and you start to maybe be a bit irritated by the theme of this video, think, oh, it's okay, because I think he's just taking the piss. UK at the minute, we're currently experiencing a heat wave, so it might be nice to just think about how you're noticing the bed's a little sweaty now and you're not quite comfortable. you would like to move around a little bit, but in doing so you're no longer as comfy as what you were, and you've not quite got it right yet. Just trying to get the position. I can hear rats in the ceiling, maybe weasels, which I'd like to use that now to remind you of that scene in The Exorcist, just near the beginning, where she thinks she can hear weasels in the wall. Although this may be from a spoof version of The Exorcist, I'm not too sure. The VHS I remember watching it on had the words "The Royal Family" written on it, and it was quite a scary experience, and I'd like to share that with you now. And did you just notice the shadow on the wall? And at the end of your bed there, it might be a good idea now to bring your feet into the middle of the bed, regardless of your partner being there, because I think there may be a definite hazard, a danger in the room. It sounds, well, it's not quite a sound, it's more of a feeling that you can sort of sense within near your ears, that there's something moving under the bed, around the edge of the bed. Maybe it's just a couple of spiders mating rampantly on your pillowcase, whilst they're looking you in the eye, with all 16 of them between them. And you know to yourself in this moment that the spiders aren't really interested in each other, they're only interested in you. But I think the hazard's passed, and the shadows on the wall have gone from walking to standing still, and it looks as if it's turned to either face you or face away from you. Maybe it's wearing a hat, and I want that train that's going past to just interrupt your night's sleep as well. I couldn't have timed it any better if I tried. And as the train goes past, think of all those times you've waited for people at the train, and for that family member or friend you're seeing soon, and you think to yourself, what if they don't make it? What if they don't turn up? Maybe they're only turning up because I keep asking them. Maybe nobody likes me. Maybe that's why I have to sit and listen to ASMR every night, of listening to young women scrape balloons with the nails and eat Subway sandwiches. This hasn't been sponsored by Subway, but if Subway are listening, you can trust me more than what you could trust Jared. A hell of a lot more. No, that's not a nice thought to have in your head, thinking of Jared, just as you're falling asleep. So try not to think of Jared. But it's quite difficult not to, because I keep saying his name. And then think of all the other prominent people. We probably shouldn't get into that as you're falling asleep. I've made myself laugh. I'm surprised I lasted this long. Which is what you hear as you're just leaving the front door of your childhood house. You hear your dad whispering that into your mother's ear, just as you pass through the living room again. They don't know you're here though, you're more of an ethereal being. They don't know of your existence or care for your existence in that moment in time. And in the last couple minutes of this, I just want you to relax now. And all the things I've been saying, try not to think about them. So just to recap, try not to think about the overheating plug sockets, or the risk lithium batteries pose when you keep them plugged into the wall during the summer months, overnight next to your bed. Try not to think about the carbon monoxide that could be seeping into your kitchen and through the house, the silent killer. Try not to think about what it would be like to witness your mum and dad making love. And try not to think about Jared creeping into your house with a ham and cheese Italian herb Subway. Obviously he goes for the 6-inch, he likes them smaller. He just likes to have a lot of them. And as you stop thinking about all of those things, I want you to just consider this. That whilst you're sleeping, somewhere, somebody's thinking about how you wronged them in their lives, in their eyes. But also to think about all the nice things you've done, and how none of that will matter, because people only remember the negative things about people, and only discuss the negative things about people. And I think that's a really nice thought now to leave you with. And if you fell asleep listening to this, again I can only apologise. But there is someone stood over the bed watching you. I didn't invite them. I didn't tell them where you lived. You did. You did it when you used one of them games on Facebook a few years ago, where you allowed them to use your location and then you never carried on playing it because you weren't overly keen. They know where you live, and they know where you sleep. Buy things from theworldaroundyou.com, like a copy of my book, Uneducated Guesses, where you can sort of learn how to have my sort of accent from the way I would pronunciate the words, or pronunciate the words. Or buy yourself a key ring, or buy all your family key rings, and swap amongst yourselves for the intestines, the tails, the paws. And if you're awake watching this video, and you've lasted 30 minutes, I'm very worried about you, but what do you think of this little amalgamation and it's coming along now? Leave your little suggestions in the comments. Let me know if you think this is better or worse than the last one. I've tried to put a bit of thought into this one, whereas the last one was just sort of off the top of my head. Now don't get me wrong, this one's off the top of my head and all, but I did think and plan on doing this today. I'm going to upload it now, and if you're already watching this online, because where else would you be watching this? Obviously it's already been uploaded, and that wasn't something you really needed to know. But good night.